Welcome back to a brand new episode of Mastering Programming. In today's episode, I'll be going over how I became a professional app developer in less than 6 months without going to a course or taking professional tutorials or anything like that. My only resource of learning app development was directly from YouTube. Before I get into why exactly I became an app developer or how I became an app developer, let me just be completely transparent and let you know that I am studying software engineering. Now, yes, that's technically studying some sort of development or engineering, but trust me when I tell you that I did not learn any app development throughout my degree. I'm currently in my 3rd year and I did not even have any units when it comes to mobile development or even just regular software development, or at least the implementation of it. Now, let's get started on why I became an app developer or how or when I became an app developer. So I started learning app development approximately last year in my 2nd year of university. Not through uni, that's because I was doing my internship and they were going to hire an app developer in my company, and I sort of just volunteered and said, hey, you know what, I think I really can do it. Now, at that time, I was always interested in app development, but at that time, I probably saw like 1 or 2 videos. I had no idea what I'm doing. I was not an app developer, basically. I lacked all the necessary skills to complete an app from scratch or even complete it from like a template or anything like that. But I did sort of raise my hand in the company and I said, you know what, I can do it. They said, are you sure? And I said, yes, I'm confident. Now, the deadline for the application was for, I think it was like 2 months or something like that. So it was pretty short, especially that I didn't have any experience in app development and I had no idea where to start. All I did have, to be honest, which was kind of a bit of an advantage, was the Android version of the application. So they gave me the Android version with all the code, all the layouts, all the UI, and they said, all right, we want you to transport that into an iOS application. Now, at that time, I wasn't obviously going to take any courses because I was doing full-time internships, so 5 days a week, and I also had some uni units that I had to complete, so I had no time to take any courses. So I decided to go to the place that I'm comfortable with the most, and that is YouTube. I started searching up so many courses, whether it was, iOS development or even Android development, because I had to understand the code in the Android application in order to start working with the iOS application. So I sort of just, I was like, every day I'm going to spend a particular amount of time just learning how to pretty much make an app. Now, I'm not saying this is the best way to learn app development, because it definitely isn't. I was only learning app development to complete specific things in the app, or to complete that app specifically. And just to give you some background information, the app was using NFC capabilities. If you don't know what they are, make sure you go and check one of my videos about NFC capabilities. And what it does is pretty much you have a very simple app, 2 pages. You scan a water meter and it tells you how much water you've consumed in your house. Very smart application, and NFC capabilities at that time, or even until now, don't really have that much documentation when it comes to iOS. So it was a bit of a challenge, and I started working exactly on how to complete the app. I didn't learn anything for iOS development. I didn't even pick up a book. I just searched up exactly what I needed to do in order to complete the app. And within actually like a month, maybe a month and like 15 days, I managed to get a working demo to my manager. So that demo had the NFC capabilities working, it had all the UI completed, and the app was working. There was navigation, everything was just perfect. There was even layout constraints, something that I suffer with until now. But what I'm trying to say is everything was working fine. It seemed at that time like I was suddenly an app developer. I completed an app from scratch, and a fairly complex application when it comes to at least the back end. But here's the thing. That's not the best way to learn things if you want to be a complete app developer. I made one app. When I started trying to do other apps, I completely failed. And that's because I learned how to do one app. Everything that I was searching up was completely to solve that particular feature inside of the application. And although it did teach me very well, if I had to do it again, I would pick up a book. Now Apple has like an app development with Swift book. I would pick it up. I would learn everything, even things that I don't think are necessary when it comes to that project that you're trying to build. Anyway, Moving on, after completing that project, I decided, well, let's give it a go and actually try building some other projects or some other small apps. But I started and I kind of failed. I couldn't do it. So I decided, all right, well, since NFC capabilities was such a hard thing to do, and it took me forever to know how to implement it inside of my application, why shouldn't I make a YouTube video explaining how to do it, how to use NFC capabilities? And that's exactly what I did. I opened a YouTube channel, the one you're watching right now, called Mastering Programming, and I made my first video, and it wasn't about NFC capabilities. It was a very bad video. I was just explaining how strings work, and it had no sound, it had no voice, it didn't have anything interesting into it. And it was, yes, as you guessed it, pretty bad. It wasn't until so many videos later when I actually decided to make the NFC video that I decided to do. And once I did, the weirdest thing happened. I got 5,000 views. That was in December 3, 2019. And I got 89 video likes. As you can see, there's 0 dislikes. I was obviously very excited, and I realized that this is something that I want to do for a really longer period of time. I liked YouTube, it was working for me, and I started to get a lot of comments. As you can see, they will load up in a second. I started getting a lot of recognition and a lot of interaction with my videos. And that's when I decided, all right, I think YouTube can be something that I can do on the side, and I decided to do it whenever I was free. But a couple of weeks later, after publishing this video, even a weirder thing happened. I got contacted by someone who wanted to hire me to make them an iOS application which contains NFC capabilities. They saw this video, and I was the only one on YouTube at that time, and even I believe until now, who explains how to use NFC capabilities in your phone. And they decided to shoot me an email and hire me, and I did make them the application. Now, I did charge them something around from $2,500 to $3,000. I can't remember the exact price, but it was a big number for me. That was a huge number to get your first app to be done for $2,500. I live in Australia, so US dollars to AUD, Australian dollars, it's a big number. I'll make sure I put it on the screen somewhere. And I felt very rewarded. I felt really happy, especially that it didn't really take me that much time to do that application. It was very simple. It needed NFC capabilities, and it just required some UI table views. Again, as I was doing the application, as I took the order, I was not confident enough that I'll be able to complete it. And I didn't take any payments from that client until I managed to actually complete it and make him fully satisfied with that project. Once I did, I realized that, you know what, YouTube can be something that I'm actually generating money from. Now, no, I'm not putting or getting any revenue from YouTube itself from the ads, but I did make $2,500 from YouTube through a client, which means that YouTube technically did help me. And this was my first interaction with an actual client that I managed to get on my own and without being part of a company or anything like that. This was very rewarding, and that's when it came to me. Why shouldn't I advertise myself to be hired? You can hire me in every video. And from now on, I will show you in a second, from that point onwards, I decided to include things like, would you like to hire a professional app developer? Now, at that time, I actually did not have a website. And so I would just include my email and I would say, why don't you hire me on the videos? And I actually started getting one more client, another client. And at some point I had 4 clients right after each other. Now, once I got 5 clients, that's when I was like, okay, maybe it will be a good idea if I actually start making like a website where people can communicate with me and contact me through. And that's when I created Tapaway. Now, Tapaway is by far the most thing that I am proud of. It allows me to communicate with my customers. It allows me to show off my previous work, and people really do use it. A lot of people send me email through, whether it's to get some help with a project that they're working on, or a comment on my video, or simply they just want to hire me, and I do reply to them back and they love it. As you can see here, it's a very basic website, and I started getting reviews. I started advertising my work. I even added Amazon ads on the right side here, as you can see. And I also started doing much more than just developing apps. I started doing monthly maintenance to people. So they would hire me, and not to develop an app, just to maintain their applications. They would send me their application and I would maintain it on a monthly basis. I started doing app hosting. So let's say you do develop your own app, you can come to me and I'll host it for you. I don't even need to be the developer who developed it for you. It's just like $10 a month, and I'll just put it under my account. And as you can see, the website slowly started growing. By the way, this was nothing like this a couple of months ago. It was just like a blank page with, hey, you can hire me, and one form. But then I started adding blogs. I started adding this like sort of like road trip of what happens and how do we communicate. But more importantly, I started creating my portfolio. And I cannot stress enough how important it was to create a portfolio. Now, a lot of people will say, oh, well, we don't really have a lot of projects to put. Trust me, even one project to your clients will change whether or not they come to you or go to someone else. As soon as I started putting one website or one project, I started getting so much more clients on a daily basis just because they have a reference to go to. These are some of the projects that I worked on, and by the way, these are obviously not all the projects that I worked on. They're just some of the ones that I'm really proud of, or some of the ones that, like the most recent ones that I think are relevant and good. I started using Tapaway for also much more ideas. My friends, my family started coming to me and asking me to do apps for them, or suggested some ideas to do. So I also did something like the existing solutions, where you can go and browse a solution already and you can implement it in your own business. What I'm trying to say is YouTube helped me a lot to become an app developer. Without me planning it, without me thinking too much, saying, all right, I want to do this, I want to do that, all of a sudden clients just came, all because of one video that I provided with real quality. I did work hard to make this video. I did edit it, I changed it, I always maintained it, and I always made sure that all my videos are coming with the best quality, something that I would want to watch. And that's, I think, how you get clients as well. If you're not willing to do a project for a client that you think that you would love to publish under your name, I don't think you're ready to take clients. And so my advice to you, make YouTube videos. Show the people what you're working on. It doesn't matter if your videos are not good or if they're not as entertaining. Try make videos, even if you're just explaining like one line of code, 2 lines of code, and then it will grow. If you look at my first video, just like I explained, then let me show it to you again. If we go to Mastering Programming and then go to videos, and go sort by oldest, you'll see that the first video I ever made didn't even have noise to it. It was such a bad video and it was horrible. But now look at me, I'm making videos with my face on it, I'm making videos with theme music in it, with background music, I'm doing very complicated things like the NFC applications, and that's getting me client. And this is basically how I became an app developer. By making videos, going out there, doesn't matter if your work will be a little bit bad at the beginning, just show it to the people and people will come to you. And just on that, there were so many times where clients wanted to swear at me or say you're doing such a horrible job, or wrote like paragraphs explaining how incompetent I was. It will happen. You will never start as good as like someone who's been in the industry for years. And that's the lesson that I want you to take. If you're going to take a job from a client, know that the first couple of ones you might get some, feedback that you're not really happy with. Whether it's them being rude to you, whether they don't want to pay you anymore, or whether they just plain up swearing at you for messing up their website or messing up a project that you said you will complete for them. It happens to everyone. And the key factor here is that you just need to keep going. You need to keep making apps. You need to keep making videos regardless of that feedback. Take the feedback, fix it up, and then make a much better project next time. Thanks so much for watching. I know I probably drifted a little bit, but I really wanted to show you my own experience on how I became an app developer and how I started getting so many clients. Right now I have 4 clients running at the same time, and the remaining ones I actually had to say, no, I can't work with you because I don't have time to do their applications, whether it's Android or iOS. So keep making videos. I definitely did, and I'll definitely will continue to make videos because I love making them. I love it when people like the videos. I love it when people say that this helped them. And obviously, I love it when someone hires me because of a video I made. It is rewarding, and I really recommend you doing it too. Thank you for watching and have a good day.